Hi, my name is Elena Yelizarov with eXp Realty, and I'm here to share with you guys today the top town to invest in British Columbia. I believe that this is one of the best places because it offers unparalleled cash-on-cash returns, 9% and above, as well as well over 30% return on investment, even with modest appreciation taken into account. So let's dive more into where this city is located and why I think it's one of the best places to invest. So this mystery town is located in Terrace, British Columbia. For those of you who are not familiar, it's in northern BC. And here's just a quick summary of why I think this makes an amazing opportunity today. First of all, 9% cash-on-cash return means that you can finance this with high interest rates and still have positive cash flow. This community has experienced an average 8.5% appreciation over the last 5 years. And I think this trend is going to continue due to some very strong market fundamentals. And you can see that it returns well over 30% ROI, as I'll show you that even when you finance with high interest rates, you still get really high returns. So why is this the case? Well, there's a very strong market support and market demand for rentals right now in Terrace. The town has near zero vacancy because of high number of people that are moving into the area, and the town has limited capacity to absorb all of these newcomers. The prices, the good news is that the real estate prices haven't really caught up with the high rents yet. And there's also on-site property management services that are available, as well as really good new construction and existing investment options available, which I'll go over shortly at the end of this presentation. So let's start off today's presentation with an introduction to Terrace in general, quick overview over jobs and economic growth that is happening in the area, and then drill down more on the market analysis and current opportunities available, as well as a short investment analysis to give you an example of what cash flow could look like. And if you decide to invest in this community or want to explore your options, I'll outline some next steps on how you can take advantage of it. So let's give you guys a quick overview of where exactly is Terrace, BC, and why it's such a great place to invest. So first of all, as you can see, Terrace is located quite a few kilometers away from north of Vancouver. It's about a 1.5 hour flight by airplane. And the reason why it's a strategic location is because it's located within a close distance of two ports, basically about an hour, 45 to an hour minutes driving away from Prince Rupert and Kitimat, where a lot of infrastructure and jobs are coming. So Kitimat is going to be the place where LNG Canada is going to build a one-of-a-kind, biggest in North America, liquefied natural gas facility. As well as this is also location of a Rio Tinto aluminum smelter. And Terrace itself is getting an inland port, brand new hospital, and also an expanded UNBC and Coast Mountain College campuses. So there's a lot going on in the area. So despite of all this infrastructure coming in, I think not many people today have heard of Terrace, which is why I believe it's one of the best kept secrets in BC. It's a small town that has a lot to offer, that is set to grow with over $120 billion worth of infrastructure and jobs coming into the area. It has high rents, near zero vacancy, high medium incomes, well over $100,000 per family, and very limited land supply. As you can see, Terrace is located in a narrow, landlocked valley, surrounded by high mountains, and there is really no nearby communities where it can expand to and grow. And it's also strategically located at a gateway to Asia, crossroads of both railway and highway routes that are connected to ports that I've mentioned, Prince Rupert and Kitimat. And it's the only livable community that's going to be located within driving distance of Kitimat, where, as I said, there's going to be a huge liquefied natural gas plant. So why would people want to move to Terrace instead of living in Kitimat? And I think it is because that over the next couple of years, Kitimat will become more and more an industrial zone, whereas Terrace offers a lot of recreational opportunities, community centers, and all the services that basically families are looking to get in an area. Despite being in a remote northern BC location, Terrace actually has a very mild climate, And that's, again, I think, just because it's at this strategic location between two fjords going deep inland that bring in the warmer sea air into the area. So its temperature is very similar to Vancouver throughout the year, staying around 10 to 15 degrees with a mix of sun and clouds and rain and snow, mostly just in December and January. And to give you an overview of why I think this area is set to boom is this liquefied natural gas plant, LNG Canada. It's a $50 billion liquefied natural gas plant, 400 hectares in size. So it's about 50 football fields. And it's a partnership between Shell Oil, Petronas, PetroChina, Mitsubishi, and Korea Gas. So this city-sized plant is set to launch early in 2025. And by 2030, it is set to double its capacity because there's so much demand for liquefied natural gas in the world today. So there's all of this oil and gas development, actually liquefied natural gas development, will drive a lot of jobs in the area. As you can see, between the LNG Canada Phase 1 and 2, as well as the 3 smaller liquefied natural gas plants, that will bring over 3,000 jobs into the area, which is quite significant for a small community of just under 20,000 living between Kitimat and Terrace at the moment. There's also, of course, the Rio Tinto smelter, which already employs 1,200 people as of 2016 because of its expanded capacity. And in addition to that, there's also gas pipelines being constructed that, again, are bringing more permanent jobs. There's the expanded inland port. So overall, there's another about 2,000 jobs that are coming into the area. And there's more. There's a brand new hospital that's going to make Terrace even more attractive place to live because now people can get surgery in their community instead of having to fly to Vancouver or Victoria. So it will make Terrace an attractive place to live and retire. Another thing that I wanted to mention to you guys about the impact of all of these jobs. Now, 5,000 jobs might not sound a lot, but for a small community like Terrace, it is a big deal because as a result of those high income jobs coming into the area, there's at least two more jobs that will be created as a consequence, as people need more doctors, dentists, teachers, car mechanic, and so forth when they come into the area. So it's a projected about 15,000 more people, or almost double the population that's living there today, will come into the area by 2030. So there's a dire need for housing to accommodate all of these newcomers. And this is what is driving the demand in the rental market at Terrace today. Terrace has near zero vacancy rate. And this is largely due to a huge influx of migrant workers for major infrastructure projects. This has created a spike in rental demand. Single rooms in Terrace right now are going for as much as $1,500 per month. On this graph, I've indicated the low and high ranges of rents that you see in the area. So for a single furnished room, you'll see basically people charge around $900 per month. And for a studio, it would be closer to $1,500 if it's new and it's very nice. And for one bedrooms, you can see people pay between $1,700 to $2,000, and for 2 bedrooms, again, $1,800 to $2,500 or so. And for 3 bedrooms, again, for a basement suite, it will be something like $2,500, and for a nice home, a brand new townhome, it would be like $4,500. And for a detached house, you can see anywhere from $3,700 to $6,000. So there's quite a vast spread in rents, and it really depends on the condition and the location of the property. Obviously, with high income earners want better housing. They want new, nice stuff that's not going to break down and cause them problems. So that's why I said again, why are people paying such high rents? Well, in comparison, it's actually still low cost compared to having people fly in and out on a monthly basis and not being with their families. So despite the fact that there's lots of work camps, there's like 2 huge 5,000 plus people work camps in Kitimat, that's not really a permanent housing option, especially for those people who want to stay in the community long term. And on top of that, Kitimat actually has a very limited capacity for schools. So that's why more people are looking to move to Terrace, and they are looking to rent anything that's basically from 3-bedroom to 5-6 bedroom homes in order to move their families with them. So here's an example of how it would work if you were to buy a brand new detached home. Let's say that your all-in cost was $675 and it rented for around $6,000 a month. So your net income would be $63,000 per year, which basically would give you a cash on cash return of 9.3%. So basically, if you had this money parked in the bank today, $675,000 would probably pay you around 5.5% as interest only. Here, you're getting something better. It's 9.3. So even without buying any loan, taking out any loans, this investment works better than just having your money in the bank. Now, if you decided to borrow money at even the high interest rates that we have today, around 7%, I factored 6.89% into this calculation with 80% loan to value ratio and mortgage length of 30 years. So again, our all-in cost, $675 is the purchase price. You'll actually need a little bit more cash to put down, around $173,000 when you factor in GST and property transfer taxes. Let's say mortgage at the end of it all is $514,000. What does the cash flow look like? Well, you're going to be left with $22,387,000 cash every single year. On top of that, you'll pay down the mortgage by another $5,300 approximately. And if the property price goes up even 5%, which is more than the historical average, let's say all across northern BC, it has been at least 5% on average over the last 40 years, then you're looking at $32,150 appreciation. So that gives you a total return of about $59,000 or almost $60,000 per year, which is about 34.5% of that original amount of cash that you put down to buy this property. So a pretty attractive return, and like I said, much better than when you can get in the bank today. Again, this is a conservative estimate. I think that Terrace, given the land constraints, the limited ability of the town to grow, I think you're going to be able to do much better. But I don't want to overpromise to people. I think 34% return should be a reasonable expectation. Here is kind of a quick overview of what has been happening with real estate trends in northern BC, Kitimat, and Terrace over the last 5 years. So as you can see here on this graph, I'm going back back to 2018. So Kitimat was the most affordable place to live with around $200,000 for our average house price back in 2018. Then it spiked and hit a peak back in 2020, which is around the time that LNG Canada construction started. And since then, it kind of slid off, kind of came back to almost the same level, and it stayed there. Now, Terrace started out at $275 and has continued climbing. Now, both Terrace, BC Northern Real Estate, and Kitimat took a bit of a dive, a small decline, thanks to the interest rate increases that we have seen in the last year or so. But the impact has been minimal, like going down 2% when people's monthly mortgage payments are going up as much as 60%, if you're in a variable mortgage today, compared to what it was before, like back in 2020, let's say, when it was around 1.5% for interest. It's huge. The fact that these communities have remained relatively stable despite the drastic changes in the market. And what I can also highlight is that between 2018 and today, it's still an average of 8.5% increase over the last 5 years, which is way more than what I factored into my previous calculation that I shared with you guys, which was basically just factoring 5% growth, not 8.5%. So how does it compare to Vancouver real estate? A lot of people are thinking, Northern BC, it's way out there. I don't know. Do people really want to live there? Do prices really go up in that area? How does this compare to Vancouver? Because everybody has such strong faith in this real estate market, people assume that automatically Vancouver will outperform everywhere else. But that actually hasn't been the case. Because if you see that in recent 18 months, Vancouver and Fraser Valley and Chilliwack markets actually took a big hit due to interest rate increases. As you can see, Vancouver declined about 2.25% in the last year. Fraser Valley went down 9.6%, and Chilliwack actually went down 13.75%. And the biggest reason why I attribute this, because Fraser Valley and Chilliwack were additionally hit not only with higher mortgage costs, but also higher commuting costs for those communities. We've also seen gas prices go up about 30% in the last 12 months, and even more so, I think, in the last 2 years. So that's definitely a factor as well. And if you look back from 2018 till today, you can see that Vancouver area actually hasn't seen that much of a spectacular appreciation, 4.8%. Whereas I think I've showed you on a previous slide, Terrace had 8.5% in the same time span. And you can see that Fraser Valley and Chilliwack actually did better. Fraser Valley was 9% and Chilliwack was 12.1%. Now, why is that the case? I think the biggest reason is because these lower price communities like Chilliwack and Fraser Valley had a lot more room to grow. If you think about it, look at the prices here. In Greater Vancouver area, which is basically including all types of housing in the Greater Vancouver region, including condos, townhomes, detached, we're approaching an average of $1 million in this market, which is really not affordable for a vast majority of people. Because with today's interest rates, $1 million mortgage is basically around $7,500 a month in costs, which is very few people can afford. So that's why I think our prices are not going to grow as quickly going forward, especially if these high interest rates just stick around. Whereas in less expensive communities, more affordable communities, it's much easier for people to get into housing. When you throw on top of that there's actually a lot of demand for housing because it's so affordable, then you have additional drivers for appreciation, which is why I think that investing in communities, they're still kind of below that $500,000 mark for average resale price, is the best place that you can go today. Because even in high interest rate markets environment, those communities will continue to do well. I think that the timing for investing in Terrace is perfect right now, more so than ever. It's because the majority of workers just started to relocate there. They haven't really hit the big boom. The launch, like I said, this official launch of LNG Canada is going to be in 2025, and Mills Memorial Hospital is going to come in the fall of next year. So once these facilities start to operate, I think we'll see a dramatic increase for all types of housing in the coming months. But at the moment, prices still haven't caught up. And just to kind of give you an overview of what's available in Terrace, kind of what did the average prices look like today. Basically, for mobile homes, you're looking for $200,000 to $300,000. That's what's keeping actually the average price low, is because they do have a fair number of mobile homes selling here in the area. Townhomes and duplexes go for around $350,000 to $450,000, depending on the age, size, condition of the property. And detached homes start from about $500,000, I would say, for something that is really run down and is barely holding together, and all the way to, let's say, $850,000 for something that is brand new. And fourplexes, again, something that is run down probably can cost you that $675,000, but you need to put work into it. Something that is brand new, you're probably looking around $350,000 to $450,000 per side. And of course, there's also multifamily development opportunities. Like I said, we have relationships with property management. One of them is Swiss Real. The other one is Sterling Management, which both have connections with LNG Canada and Mills Memorial Hospital. And they're able to find high quality tenants, get long-term commitments and high rents with very low property management fees. And that's basically our value proposition for you guys. So if you've enjoyed this presentation, if you think that Terrace is a good place to invest, we're here to help you, guide you every step of the way. We can offer you, basically, we encourage you to set up a time to talk to us regarding your goal, budget, and time frame. You can book a tour of Terrace and help you review the available opportunities, as well as prepare and negotiate contracts, terms, deposits, help you with all the due diligence, review all applicable documents, and give you basically the inside scoop on the property, make sure that it's good investment, and help you with all the paperwork and closing coordination. And now, if you guys have time for questions, answers, I'll be happy to sit down with you guys and answer any questions or concerns. I encourage you to book a free, no obligation consultation with me by filling out the form below this presentation. And I look forward to connecting with you soon. Thank you once again for listening to the presentation. Let's talk soon about investing in Terrace.